Dr. Shastri, the floor is yours. Please tell us a little bit. And you have a few slides you want to share with us. Please use the system to share your slides. You can do this from your system.
Thank you, Dr. Mathur. I was in Dalama today in the afternoon at around 2 o'clock. I prepared a few slides, and then I thought I can share my views. And after listening to Dr. Bird, I think I have to show some of the slides. Therefore, we can set the platform, and then we can have a healthy discussion. And I'm just trying to share my screen with you all. Hope I am visible now.
Yeah, your screen is visible. Thank you.
Okay. So I'll quickly take you through because your mail somehow prompted me to prepare few slides at the last minute. And first of all, thank you very much for your Ayush Valley for inviting me to be part of this debate. I try to do justice to your expectations. And we have interacted several times, and let's see. But I personally have a different approach to Corona, like COVID-19. Just for a philosophical purpose, the philosophical perspective, as all we live in India. Why don't you think Corona is a God-given gift? Why are we cursing it when it is affecting 0.016% to 0.22% of the entire world, and then among them 5%. So I'm saying I want to be on a lighter side, definitely. But since we were discussing in the beginning what new in this, there are a lot of new things. Therefore, I want to say, in our regularly followed Bhagavad Gita, Krishna said, "Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata abhyuttanam adharmasya tadatmanam sujamya paritranaya sadhuna vinashaya cha dushkrutam dharma samsthapanaya sambhavami yuge." Okay, so with this background, if you just look from a pure philosophical, I'm not going to touch any science right now. I'll gradually take you into science, definitely. I'm capable of doing that straight away, but I want to give a new thought, because I was asked what new, because these were the points sent by you. Of course, this was written to others also. So, is a new COVID-19 perspective possible? I say yes. And is a middle path possible? I definitely say yes. And if yes, what like this? So the Adharma is not doing their duty. Like don't spit, people spit. Don't cut tree, you cut trees. Don't pollute, you pollute. Okay. All the don'ts have been done, and then we blame the heavens, or we blame everybody for what is happening today. We have not followed certain principles of life as it has been prompted, at least in Ayurveda. Is it one of the causes? And often I've seen people started saying this infection is due to Janapadodhvansa and all those stuff. Janapadodhvansa is a different concept. It is more related to the pollution, or it is the end result. something which has destroyed human settlements is Janapadodvan. So very simple, it can be anything. So they have taken the means of destruction, whether it is air pollution, whether it's water pollution, whether it's soil pollution, whether it's climate pollution. So those things, there is something beyond. That's what we are always forgetting. So we jump into conclusions, and that's where we have put every blame on Janapadodvansa without looking at what is the cause of Janapadodvansa. That's where exactly probably today what we are discussing your COVID-19 as a clinical condition or nCoV-2 or SARS-CoV-2 virus infection as well, we know. So when I said S, then for your two questions, then I said the underexplored and unexplored. These are these two beautiful words which have prompted me to actually to make this presentation. So we will see what are the underexplored and unexplored avenues in Ayurveda. So
Shastri, before you proceed, I have a message here saying there's a background noise from a fan. So I'm just going to unmute everybody and then ask for yourself to
is it okay?
bear with. I'm going to mute everybody and then come back
Yeah.
to. Um,
Yeah, is it okay?
Please continue, sir. Please continue.
Yeah. So with this kind of philosophy, I am referring to the first slide. When you have shown about 23 million workers going back to the villages. Okay, the urbanized workers getting back to the villages. In fact, in the recent project we have taken for the medicinal plants board, this was the concept. Because have you learned lessons from COVID? That is another question you asked. I say definitely yes. That's why my vision post-COVID is Ayush economy for this country, which is going to give a strong rural support, rural economy support, which is going to play a major role. And that we will discuss at the end of the presentation. So just I will put these things in perspective. When I look at the philosophy, I never bothered about the name of a particular condition because they were knowing that the evolution has given a lot of things and a lot of virus also. There is no exception. So don't worry about the name of the disease. And then another saying that Purana Viliyante Navina Pradarasan. You keep getting new infections. So don't bother about it. And I want to precisely give examples. Sometimes they talked about conditions like Bhakaroga. Sometimes they talked about conditions like, there were new introductions. I'm not saying infections. And then another clinician introduced Amavata, which was not there earlier. Then some people introduced Pirangaroga. This is where I want to just highlight the infections. Whenever there were new infections in the modern era, it was in the 18th century, when between 17th and 18th century, where in a text called Yoga Ratnakara, this Pirangaroga was documented. Okay, and syphilis. What did they say? Vyadhiragantyoyashah doshana matra sankrama. They said this has come from an external organism, microorganism. Just don't bother about like your dosha, dushan. First of all, get into act. Try to control it and manage it. Then look at what kind of dosha involved. This concept is nothing new. Let us say. So Ayurveda is given different approaches. Your dosha pratanika, vyadhi pratanika. Okay, whether you want to look at your vata pit cup and then you want to look at the imbalance and then all those stuff. That's one approach. Or you have a clinical condition, give the treatment. Charaka Samhita is a clear indication for me for an average physician who wants to directly get into act. He had given 15 different groups, 50 different indications for which you can have the management profile very easily 50 Kashaya Vargas on the fourth chapter of Charaka Samhita, and we always ignore it. We always project Ayurveda in such a way. God, Ayurveda always talks about dosha, dusha, samochana, and then the complicated things, and then we look at Prakriti. And in the morning, somebody was telling me on the basis of the pulse diagnosis, they're able to give the Prakriti. Ayurveda never said it. It's your interpretation. We do these interpretations for our benefit and attribute when we succeed, and we throw it away when we are not successful. So let us not do that. Let us be what you call faithful to ourselves. Okay. So even if I call it as Corona Roga, I have no problem unless and until I give emphasis to what Ayurveda said to start with, and as I progress, whether I'm learning exactly what to be done and I'm implementing. That's why Rogamado Parikshata Tattvanandram also. Identify the disease and then talk about it. As I mentioned, there's a significant difference between your Janapadodvansha and Sankramika Vyadhi. The so-called infections today, contagious conditions have been mentioned little different from Janapadodvansha. When he mentioned about Sankramanti Narandram, about the infectious conditions, he might have very much used the word Janapadodvansha. He did not do that. These two are different entities. But in the last 2 months, I've seen several webinars where these have been where the misuse are introduced. So we also said there is a different approach, like single herbs or multiple herbs. This debate continues. It started when Ayurveda started, and it will continue. We have to live with it. It is our individual interest. When I read Dalhana in a Gana, there are in some Ganas there are 30, 32 herbs also. In some Ganas 16, 17. And Dalhana had commented, whether you use 1/5 or 1/6 of these ingredients, also you'll get the same results. This is not mine. It is in the text. I can pass on the quotes from the text. Even Chakrapani, while commenting on Charaka Samhita, whether you use one herb out of 10 in the group, or 2 herbs, 3 herbs, or 10 herbs, is a question of quantity, not the number. That means the single herb will also work, provided it is given in the therapeutic dose, and the combinations will also work, because there is a different advantage. Nobody can deny. But if you don't know how to combine, there will be definite disadvantage. Like I see many of the companies, they mix this your Zimnema Silvestri in all their formulations. I have not seen any classical Ayurveda formulation using Gymnema Silvestri as a part of any combination. As a matter of fact, bitter gourd, it was never part of any of the Ayurvedic formulations for diabetes. So to our advantage, we mix up, and some of them will work because we never individually evaluate them and we claim it's working. But that's fine. That's where the Western community always was asking when I read the definition of your botanical drugs in US context, USP. That's why they don't allow more than 1 or 2 combinations, because life will be easy and easy to catch hold of the mixing or adulteration if we have minimum of what you call ingredients. And I can tell you, I'm on a board when Chyawanprash and Sitopala Churna were registered in US. I debated with FDA authorities. They visited our factory in my previous position, and after taking a note from me, they are given clean sheet. Okay, because it can be registered as food or dietary supplement in the food. They will ask about a lot of things. He wanted each ingredient and its what you call BRS and all. And in the end, I said, "Come on, you show me one lab in US which can do this work for me. I'll pay for that." He said, "Is it not possible?" It is quite impossible, because there are junk of compounds, not even one compound. Forget about molecules. The junk of compounds which are present, and it's humanly not possible. So unless until you have a concern on the safety, which has already been proved, you should not come in the way. And after taking our what you call written commitment and looking at other records, they were given a go ahead. So both can happen, but yes, they have a concern. Only thing they may not allow this under botanical category, like your Australian directive also. But again, that will park it aside. Ayurveda said, use one herb, 10 herbs, whatever it may be. At the same time, one symptom for one disease, one symptom as a condition, few symptoms in a disease, many symptoms in many disease. So likewise, they have given that concept also, positive factors also, and the symptoms also. So they understood the whole spectrum and gamut, I want to say, of what happens in a clinical condition. The best example, as I mentioned, the differential diagnosis, when they were able to differentiate between a condition like Haridra Meha and Adogata Raktapitta on the basis of the clinical symptomatology, and we cannot doubt their approaches. Only thing, we have not gone to their depth, because today we are depending, as rightly said by Dr. Narendra Bhatt, we are more depending on the laboratories and exploring the newer tests than looking at what a clinician can do. That's a major problem. So there is another entity called Nidanarthaka Rogas and Vyadhi Sankara. Please remember, when you come to this, I wanted to publish, I'll be publishing very short, some of the gist I'm showing here. I've done a cross-section analysis of what is happening across the globe, right from WHO, their documents, right from your January till date, and making my own notes. And slowly I'm understanding this, what Charka was saying, either Nidanarthaka Roga, on a particular condition which is gradually getting transformed into another clinical condition, or group of symptoms which are coming together and presented at Vyadhi Sankara. These are the two entities between which we have to decide. In this, we find probably both, like Jwara becoming Rakta Pitta and Rakta Pitta leading to Shosha, where Shosha, which is your tuberculosis-like condition, or your respiratory distress syndrome, I would like to say. If you carefully look at the respiratory distress syndrome and the features, clinical features, they match with these conditions mentioned under a condition called Shosha, Kshaya in Ayurveda. So, by naming Kshaya as tuberculosis or emaciation, we have lost a lot of literature. Okay, so don't equate terms. Look at what are the features that have been described. Like Urustambha, I filed a patent, of course, I will do the application on DMD, Dashne's muscular dystrophy, saying that it is Urustambha. Because the hamstring, what do you call, muscles which are involved have been mentioned in Ayurveda as Uru. So when you have problem with Uru, it should be this. And we have written as if it is an eradicated condition, you don't see. It's up to us. But if you carefully look at the Pura Rupa, Janga Klamaha, okay, which is seen in Dashne's muscular dystrophy, and those kind of clinical symptomatology will miss. So we need to be very careful when we look at these conditions. Then your Pratishaya and Jwara as a combination, or Vatajakasa or Pratishaya as a combination, or all of them as a combination. So now you decide, because if you look at the symptomatology, only 86% of them are presenting with fever as a symptom. More than 87 or 88% are presenting with cough. So, which is the primary one? So those things need to be understood. And again, fever is not Jwara. Simply by looking at it, if I shift to fever as Jwara, by equating, I'll be losing. So I want to say, it is Pratishaya Daso Kasa Sanjaya Tekshaya. So this is one category. There is another category which starts from Jar Santapa and Rakta Pitta, and then coming to your Sosha. Both are happening. So we have to have two different approaches. Probably that's what Ayurveda text mentioned. And above all is your Ojas. Coming to Ojas, always I discussed about it, because Ojas Pushti Balodaya. Bala means that is your immunity. It is mostly the texts have mentioned. Balaya Hitam Balyam. There is a group called Balya. Okay, and if you carefully enumerate the properties and find out the herbs required, there is only one herb which is common in Balya and Brahmana, because Sosha is the clinical condition of identifying it, and Ojas is something physiologically which is deranged. So if I have to address both, okay, as a Draguna specialist, I have only one herb. Unfortunately, people may take it vaguely. There is a lot of science behind picking up ashwagandha. Ashwagandha is the only common herb which is found between Balya and Brahmana groups. Very clear when it is picked up. And then you look at the Th1 pathway. Each and every immunomodulatory herb or herb with immunomodulatory activity will be useful in viral infections. For viral infections, your Th1 pathway is very important. Whether this herb is going to have and selective NK cell activity. Okay. Otherwise, your cytokines, what we are discussing today, the cytokine storm, how it is being addressed. Either you have something like your ashwagandha, where vitaferins are reported to be what you call immunosuppressive, and retinoids which have been advised as immunomodulatory or immune boosters. Amazing how nature has given this kind of mechanism. It is not with each and every herb. Same is the case with mulethi, your Glycyrrhiza glabra. Glycyrrhiza glabra, which is mentioned in 16 groups out of 50 groups of Charasamhita, fourth chapter. Amazing. It's not a vague mentioning. It has a steroidogenic property. So this is a herb which is required in the cytostorm, cytokine storm, and that's how it is addressing. Chinese have done and succeeded, and they have done a lot of studies and have published data also. So when you pick up these kind of what you call approaches, if you make, it will be like what is the middle way or middle pathway. That's what Mr. Velu was, Dr. Velu was asking. This is what I have in my mind. Like if I have to look at it, there are a lot of things which will come to my mind, and I have done sincerely what is there in Ayurveda. Adhisthana Veda, it is Agantuja. Karma Veda is a Pisachakruta. That means Pichasana demon. It is an invisible organism. Bhuta is Bhuta Sabdena Antarhita Sharira Santaha Manishwapadrava Karinaha Bhuta Ityuchate. They are invisible organisms. Then Graha. What is Graha? Grahite. It takes you into its clutches by its infection. So that is. But we are giving a different term. Even Graha is not planet even. Having said that, again, on a lighter side, I just tell you, it is my own observation. I may be absolutely wrong. I'm not an astrologist. I don't have any knowledge about it. But when recently, because of some interest, when I looked at why it is happening in all 100 years, this kind of one or other major calamity is happening. It is my observation. Please don't take it. It is a layman's approach. When I'm making this statement, I want to be very simple. As a layman, I'm talking about it. The last 2 months, the people who are good at astrology, and they talk about the 7 to 9 planets coming into a line. Have you given any emphasis to this? When just last week, when this your solar eclipse was there, a lot of scientists, not anybody else, a lot of scientists have told us, and I documented them. I can share it with you. That because of the ultraviolet rays, probably the COVID infection will come down. So I'm carefully monitoring from last Sunday now till date. I want to find out what kind of reduction is there in the percentage. When a scientist says we are accepting it, and when somebody else says we are laughing at it, let's not do that. Let's do exercise. And this is happening once in 100 years, and this phenomena also happening once in 100 years. Is there any relation? Think about it as a scientist before throw away the concept. I have no knowledge on astrology, zero, if not minus. So just think about it. If you are really looking at finding out something happening, because when I opened biochemistry text, I found in the chapter of energy a wonderful sentence that changed my thought process. Till that time, I was feeling that Ayurveda is unscientific, all those stuff. That changed me when I was in my BA was way back in '83. The college chemistry by Ramarao. The energy chapter says the energy comes from the black hole, is the contributor for the photosynthesis. And if photosynthesis doesn't happen, the all the herbivores will die. If the herbivores will die, the creation gone. Okay, so the energy coming from black hole is more important, and we have not identified what this black hole and what is this energy, but we write in the biochemistry textbook in the chapter of energy, and we forget about it when it comes to human life and influences. This is where we are more unscientific because we have not done any study. Since it is difficult, it's better to say it's all trash since it is very laborious. Like people have done Big Bang theory and still they are struggling. It is a humongous task. So the best way is to say it's all quackery, it is all unscientific, so that we can hide our ignorance and inefficiency by calling something as trash. Let us not do that. We are all scientists. I'm not fanatic. Okay, I'm not fanatic about any system. I'm very open. Whichever is best available, I have to enjoy that as a scientist. And then coming to the influence part and the management part, please remember Ayurveda understood the asymptomatic carriers. Many people think that Ayurveda doesn't have, and they question of suppose if the your RT-PCR is not there, you people might not have heard about it. I don't know what RT-PCR was there, but for any of the conditions. But remember, they have mentioned the condition. That's my point. The philosophy or the concept. Vibhichari hetu. Vibhicharihi Robotpadana Samartha. They said these are the causative factors of the disease, but the individual who is having this Vibichara Hetu, he himself will not express the disease, but the disease causative factor is hidden in him. It is in the Madhav Nidana, the first chapter, on which the commentator clearly mentioned it. Okay, so and Vyanjaka Hetu, Vyanjaka Praraketa, there may be humoral factors, remember this. So there is a Vibichari Hetu, there is a Vyanjaka Hetu, they are coming together, it's clinical symptomatology. So when we are looking at this subtle level of Ayurveda, and when we make some models, these should be the models to understand a condition like your COVID. Okay, so then finally, many people ask me this question also, why are you people, Ayurveda people, talk about the immunity part, immunity part, immunity part. See, we are very simple. Therefore, we talk about it. And when a lot of benefit is going to be derived, when we have no weapon to fight, it is the best weapon to fight. Okay. So I'm not firing bullets at the body. I'm making the body to fire bullets at the causative organism. That's a simple way of expressing this. What we said, Bala is equal to Ojas, and which is equal to Vyadhi Kshamatva. And Vyadhi Kshamatva, that is your innate immunity, whatever you want to call it, to prevent the onset of a disease. This is helpful. And it has been mentioned that Vyadhi Bala Virodhitvam and Vyadhyutpadaka Pratibandakatvam. Vyadhi Bala Virodhatva is attained by giving immunomodulators to an individual, that is host-related immunity. That is Vyadhi Bala Virodhatva. Vyadhyutpadaka Pratibandakatva. Like mentioned in the Krimi, we don't correlate Krimi here. In that Prakriti Vighataha, the conditions which are not conducive for the microorganisms are to be created is one of the treatments of Krimi. Okay. Rakta Krimi, Kechit Sukshma Dadarshanaha. It is mentioned, they are not only visible insects or your nematodes. Kechit Sukshma Adarshanaha. They are invisible. It has been documented Only thing, they don't have microscope. I don't know what they might have done in the matter of the TEM and PM, your electronic microscope at this era. Charak might have done much more wonders than what we are expecting in the field of medicine. Without having anything, they have given those indications. We are not in a position to disprove any of their indications. Only we are challenging and failing. Still we challenge. Okay. I'm not saying don't believe blindly, but have a logic. Like NIH, I can show, please refer NIH. On NIH website, you have two studies, completed studies. Out of 10 studies, 6 have been completed, out of 2 are on immunomodulation effect of ashwagandha. That's proved. And what else you want? And India, we have a lot of studies, a lot of studies in Europe. So we have certain things which are low-hanging fruits, where we have Ajastika Rasayana as another concept. When I am asked to talk about Rasayana, it may not be right, as rightly mentioned by Dr. Narendra, but it need not be simple, either immunomodulatory, antioxidant, blah, blah. It's a total package. When we are talking about holistic approach, according to me, it is holistic approach. Every time you don't require panchkarma, the Solna therapy, before you administer Rasayana therapy. Your Ajasrika Rasayana is the instant Rasayana, which has been mentioned, and a lot of things are there, and that will be really useful. And when we talk about Krimi, or the microorganisms as causative factors, then it comes to the second part of approach. One is the preventive part, and then the management part. And if you ask me, we have to work as Ayurvedic physicians. We have to carefully sit with those people, patients who have been recovered from the conditions, sit with them, or get into a COVID center with permission, professors from various colleges. You people, clinicians should go there, sit there, observe them, document them, come out, compare with what it has been mentioned in text, and then prepare. Then taking out the literature from WHO website and translating it into English, and then translating to Sanskrit, and then saying that this is Ayurveda. We need to look at this. And I heard Dr. Ram Manohar from Cochin. His team is doing this kind of work, and many more have to do the documentation part clinically. And my friend from Dr. Ramdas from Chandigarh, he's also now getting into the clinical cases. And I hope a few of you people will come out with proper documentation, and then instead of the hypothesis with a clear concept will be approaching, and coming to the Achar Rasayana, which doesn't require any kind of oral interventions. You can look at Dinacharya and Rutcharya, your daily regimen and seasonal regimen, and yoga practices, where stress is something which is also found to be causative factor. So then the treatment part, as I mentioned, will be very simple. The causative what we call approaches, or the diagnosis approaches and the management approaches together. I'll just finish my presentation. I'll run through the slides because I've taken a lot of time. This is the approach. Suppose, though I kept again single herbs, but just I want to set the context before I conclude. There are herbs like ashwagandha, guduchi, amlaki, and shatavari, which can be for your preventive part. And for the management part, you have herbs like Eshtimadu, Kalme, Bhumi Amla, even Tulsi, even the Chiraita, which is Swarsha Shirata, on which a lot of studies have happened. So both can be done instead of one. And I want to say all these herbs are already there. There are about roughly 36 plus 36, around 100 herbs are there already in pharmacopoeia. Okay, so anybody is having any kind of doubt can just ignore and move on. Okay, then I would like to say thank you. If there are any further points, let us discuss. This is what I have in my mind for you. Yeah, Thank you, Dr. Madan. This is what I wanted to share, but if there are any points for debate, definitely we will discuss. Dr. Madan?
Cornelius, can you hear me?
Yeah, Dr. Madan. Yeah, I think I'll stop myself here and then let us have some kind of a discussion.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
We will come back, Dr. Shastri. Thank you so much. We will come back towards at the end after we get some comments from, there are a few questions coming in also for Dr. Bhatt. I hope Dr. Bhatt will stay with us. Cornelius?